Welcome, folks. I'm gonna make sure I'm live here on all of these platforms. I apologize for the delay. We're having some very dramatic tech issues tonight, and it took a whole team, okay? But we are up and running. If you guys could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. We'll go ahead and get started on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I saw we had a bunch of early questions coming in already. But if you guys want to drop, okay, Pickles 760, Deborah. All right, I'm getting a bunch of thumbs up here. So it looks like our audio and our video is fine. Okay, so I think we are up and running. If you guys haven't already done so, go ahead and drop your $10 donation and your question about any relationship, family, friends, coworkers, a lover, a spouse, anything goes. Your relationship to something, even your relationship to yourself. Okay, any type of question is acceptable, but if you are referring to an actual living human being, please do include the first name or the initials of whoever you're referring to. It speeds up the process for me so that I can give you a more in-depth answer and get on to your neighbor faster. If you prefer to do this privately, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, to book a love and relationships reading. All right, welcome everyone. Yes, Abby, Deborah, Pickles, Christine Watts, good to see you. Okay. We are going to go ahead and start getting right into these as soon as I get a thumbs up here from Maraid. A couple quick announcements though. Maraid, just let me know when you're ready to get started with the first one. We do have on Wednesday my Ask Ivy show. So we'll be back. You can get your early questions in for that now. The Ask Ivy show is taking all types of questions. Literally anything goes. Health, wealth, travel, okay, relationship stuff, money, work related, literally anything. Mediumship, if you have a deceased loved one or pet that you would like to hear from. And it is going to be unlimited. All right, so you can get as many of those in as you want. So again, that's going to be on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're back with what's happening with your money, honey, where I'm going to focus on career, finance, and investment questions. That is also going to be unlimited. So you can start getting your early questions in for that now. And are we good to start, Maraid? Should I go ahead? I'm going to wait until you tell me. Oh, we are. Okay. So you can take that down. Let me do my intro. And then we can go ahead and start getting right into it. So again, if you guys are new here, welcome. You're going to drop your $10 donation and your question. Do include the first name or the initials of whoever you're referring to. Any type of relationship question goes. Maraid, my beautiful producer, is going to be taking your questions from Instagram and TikTok, moving them over here to YouTube. YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium. This will be published exclusively on YouTube in about 24 hours, and everything will be time-stamped. So if you have to go or you want to re-watch your reading, you can go back onto YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium and watch it later on. And we are unable to post on Instagram and on TikTok. We don't have a description box at the top, and we're unable to pin our comments. So Maraid has to post and repost the directions over and over again in the comment section. So if you guys want to submit your question, you can watch for her there. Maraid, if you could just give me a thumbs up too, let me know that you heard me on that. Just a reminder that we have to post, okay, good, the directions for Instagram and TikTok. So welcome everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk. This is my love and relationships show, where you can ask about any type of relationship, and Spirit and I will give you the answer, whatever is in your highest vibration to do. We're going to jump right into it. The first question that we have coming up here is for Edgar. Edgar says, "Hey, Ivy, last week you gave me a blessing message that a coworker would try to pursue me romantically in 2 weeks. Is this person Elsie or Jennifer?" It's Elsie. Well, that was a quick reading. There could be someone else there who's also interested in you, though, because it looked like it was almost a battle between Elsie and this other person. And it looked like, how do I want to say this? Someone is being very reserved and not really saying anything, not really making an attempt to lead the relationship with you in that direction. Not openly, anyways. Okay. Not making an attempt to even really drag out conversation or to get closer. You know how when people are attracted to each other, they tend to like stand closer to each other, and they tend to, I feel like this person actually is aware of all of that and avoids all of that. So it's like, I'm not really going to look at him. I'm not going to face him physically. I'm not going to get closer to him. I'm not going to. Another sign that someone's attracted to you is they drag out the conversation. It could have been over, but it's one more thing. So it's like you have one person who's not doing any of that. And I get like brown hair. Okay. And layers and, a little bit more of a quiet individual. I'm getting almost like kind of, I don't know if I would say chubby cheeks, but like, beautiful, youthful, like round cheeks. Even though she's quiet, she seems to be a very positive person, almost like she could be very optimistic or bubbly or have a real healing nature about her. The other one is Elsie, and Elsie is the one that I think, seeing when I gave you that message. Now I have psychic amnesia. I don't remember my previous readings. It's all state of trance. But I would say between Elsie and Jennifer, it was definitely Elsie. And she seems almost blatant about letting you know, dropping hints, leaning in, holding space, elongating things. Just make sure you are making a move to push that forward if you want to see it go forward. Okay. Because if you don't, she may take it as like a little more than a hint. She may take it as like a full rejection. Okay. And then could pull quite a ways back. All right. Thank you, Edgar. Have fun with it. We have another one coming in from, let's see, Carrie Watson is next. Carrie says, "Anyone coming my way this summer? If not, that's okay. LOL." Okay. Carrie Watson, this summer. Is anyone coming Carrie's way this summer? Let me look at this just psychically here. I think that, let's say you go to this concert, okay, and it's kind of like a bunch of hippies, but it's also like, I don't know, I see a lot of Birkenstocks. And then some of these people, it seems to be like rock and roll. I have some Kiss t-shirts going on here. Okay. This guy with lighter hair, light brown hair. Maybe it gets lighter in the sun. Okay. This guy with light brown hair. I feel like I'm parting it down the middle. He's got some length to it. He's got like lovely locks, he's got some waves. He's got some layers. I think he loves his hair. Hey, the fact that he has hair, is really a win, 100%. I think that he is very youthful in the way that he almost looks like muscular to me. Some people just have a high metabolism. He could probably eat a whole pizza and not have to worry about gaining weight that week, but he just looks like lean. Okay, kind of a muscular guy, but like I'm not going to the gym every day to do this. Like I just am a muscular guy. Light eyes, I think blue, and like a bigger bottom lip. Sometimes a goatee thing going on here. Not always. Sometimes just a mustache, sometimes nothing. And he can go either way. He's good looking. I mean, he's not hiding under anything. This guy's like, he's got it going on, which tells me that he has options. I also get the feeling with him, though, that he's selective and he doesn't like to mentally when he's coming up to you, he doesn't like to share his energy, which can mean, and a lot of people don't think of it that way, but they really should, that like when you, for example, sleep with someone, you're exchanging energy and that can last a long time, okay? Depending on how far it goes. Heaven forbid it should turn out to be pregnancy or something. That could last the rest of your life, okay? So he doesn't like to trade energy with a lot of people, verbally, physically, sexually, otherwise. He's pretty selective about that. And so, you know, just because a lot of people want him or he may have options doesn't mean he takes those options. Anyways, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I like him. I think that he has morals and standards and values. I think he has behaved a little immature in the past. He has a little bit of Peter Pan syndrome. I don't know if you have like a kink toward these guys or what, but I feel like that may be a pattern for you where you like the sort of wild, immature ones. You like a little belly flip, you know, a little roller coaster ride. That's fine. It's a dopamine hit. Have fun with it. I think he's growing out of his immaturity. And I don't really think it's from like he went to therapy or he picked up on tools. I think he's just getting older, you know, and I think as he's getting older, he's like, it's stupid. You know, I don't want to be acting like that anymore. And so he seems to be very attracted to you and he seems to really want to just at the very least, make sure he gets to spend time with you again after this. So his head is always like, what's the next date or what's the next thing? So I can tell if this is your first date or this is where you're meeting. Surrounded by the Birkenstocks. Okay. But this could be something. We'll see what you guys do with it. And then there's that Peter Pan thing. We'll see if you even hear from him. You give him the digits, whatever, you know. I think you will, though. I think he is serious about being ready to grow up, you know, and if not, whatever, maybe in another life, you know what I mean? Because you certainly wouldn't be letting him back around if he doesn't handle it well. So I think he knows he needs to. People like you don't come around every day. That's what he's thinking. Okay. And he would like to trade energy with you, Carrie. So have a good time. Take it slow. And it's kind of nice for you to have someone who's on your wavelength. Interesting. Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? My hair's curling up and it's crazy and all over this. Hot as the devil's you know what in here. It was like 50 degrees and today it's like 80 degrees, I swear. Let's see where we are. I'm like dehydrated and everything. Who do we have next? Mairead, let me know if you switch out as producer. Like, I'm just curious to see, is Mairead producing? Is Diana producing? Is Kim producing? With the problems we had, I was in between 3 different producers here tonight. So I just like to know who's behind the scenes because I know you guys operate different. Mairead is next. Mairead's question is, I haven't heard back from Danny yet after exchanging a few messages. Will he answer me back or is he pulling back to end it? No, you'll hear from him. I feel like I should have been more direct saying I missed him. Well, he knows. This is a game that you both like to play. It's very cat and mouse. And, you know, by you reaching out, clearly you miss him. Clearly he knows that you miss him. And he loved hearing that. He loved seeing that from you. He wants more. So he's going to be reserved. But if he wasn't into it, he wouldn't have responded at all. So the fact that you guys are having an exchange is just the dance. The dance is dancing. And I think that you know, want to tell him that. I don't think that you need to tell him that. I think he wants to hear that. I do think that if you feel as though you don't want to go there with him until he's showing a little bit more effort, That's reasonable. The most important thing is that you're enjoying yourself and that you don't feel like you're overextending in any real way. He didn't volunteer that, right? He didn't say, I missed you, is what I'm seeing. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think he said it. So if he didn't say it, you can kind of let him lead in this. You know what I mean? He's going to be detached. Okay, then we'll do a real slow dance. All right. He's going to give a little bit more than you can give a little bit more. But I do think that you're reading into it with a sort of panic or nervousness, a nervous energy and vibe you're bringing in, worrying that every exchange between the two of you could be the last, and that you didn't maybe do enough or give enough. And what if, and that in itself is the dance. That is the roller coaster ride that you want. That is the cat and mouse. Okay. That's just part of the game. So, don't take it too literal. Okay. He is not going anywhere. I mean, this is someone who, you could probably tell him to leave, and I would be surprised if he really left for very long. I think that I'm not saying do that, but I do think that, no matter what happens between the two of you, he will consistently have a desire to be near you. And if you already showed him that you want to open a can of worms, I'm hearing, there is kind of no stopping it now. Okay. So if you want to share that with him, you can. I think what it would do is break the ice or break down, I'm hearing, the brick walls. Or if you felt like he was, what's it called, gray walling you or gray stoning you, I think it would melt that ice. Okay, for sure. But with him, he's unpredictable anyways, so it doesn't necessarily fix it permanently. You could say it if you want. I think it would lead into some nicer energy than what we've got right now. I also don't think it's necessary because you'll keep hearing from him, and this is just part of the dance. There's no rush of adrenaline if both people are very available. Okay. And you both love the chase. So you're just doing what you're supposed to be doing here in this type of attraction. It is a bit of a game for sure. I hope that answered your question. Yes, you'll hear from him. Thank you, Maraid. Where are we? Okay. Christine Watts. So yeah, I see you asking about where payment is. If you're here on YouTube, it's in the description box. Okay, let's move on to another one. If you guys are on TikTok or Instagram, it's coming up in the comments section over and over and over again. My producer has to post it repeatedly because we're unable to pin anything. Pickles 760 wants to know. Pickles 760. Regarding my husband, CA, we've been through a lot. I do think we are finally over the hump. Do you see us really growing old? We've been together for 20 years already. Thank you, Ivy. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, Pickles. All right. So let me look into this. Honestly, I mean, my feeling here is that you guys have a formula. I do think that sometimes with his energy, it can be distant. It can leave you wanting more or feeling unfulfilled in some ways. I do think that as we go forward, he could face some challenges and obstacles that cause him to be even more detached or self-absorbed or unable to really fully perform in a relationship. A relationship is a lot of work. A relationship is always based on universal law, requiring that both individuals are learning and growing as people, as individuals. And only then do they have something to contribute back in a relationship with another person. And he doesn't always do well in this area. You have also had a strong tendency in the past to overreach, to hold space, to collect red flags, to allow for things that you really shouldn't have. You could call this parenting, over. When we don't stay in our lane, we don't really learn what the other person is capable of giving on their own, what they're capable of maintaining on their own, who they even really are in the relationship or in life. When we're overreaching like that, we don't really know. And I think in the last 5 years, you've started to make some changes in that area. I think in the last 5 years, 5 to 7 years, he's been tested in that growth area. And I think you guys are getting to a place now where you're seeing more clearly who the other person is. And I think in the next 3 years, you're going to make a decision as to whether or not that's really enough for you. But I think that, certainly the option is there for you to grow old together. Yeah, absolutely. Any relationship is free will. So it's people can be together, people cannot be together. It isn't like written in the stars, like it's forced in destiny. It doesn't work that way. Humans all have free will. But yeah, thank you, Pickles. I have to move this camera for TikTok because you guys are so like oddly positioned here and it's making me nuts. Triggering my OCD. I don't even know how it ended up like that. I mean, it's crooked now, but whatever. At least it's one problem solved. Freaking whack-a-mole. All right, let's move on to another one. Who do we have next? Next up is Anna Teresa. Okay. Anna Teresa. Or Anna P. Okay, got it. Do you see 2026 being the year a man enters my life who will lead to a long-term commitment or marriage? No, not in 2026. Long-term commitment or marriage in 2026. This could have been for the yes or no show. No, not in 2026. I think that what happens in 2026 toward the end is that you start entering into some wetting of the palate. You start entering into a bit of a new phase where you start meeting more quality potential partners. And you are supposed to go through a phase where when you are introduced to them, you have an opportunity to figure out more about what you want and who you really are, what your requirements are, which have nothing to do necessarily with what you want, but what your requirements are. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And where your boundaries lie. Right now, it looks like your boundaries are not in check. And we aren't in this situation anyways. Okay, I can't say the same for every single human on earth, but pretty much this is a golden rule. When our boundaries are not in place, we don't get to move relationships up into something of greater value that will last. So, anyone can get married, anyone can get involved in a long-term relationship. That doesn't mean it's not going to implode or that, it's healthier of any type of quality whatsoever. So the idea here is that you are going to figure out in 2026, later in 2026, fall and winter, more of those things through the people that you're meeting that I talked about, and you're going to get tested in boundaries. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. So the universe is going to send you people who are pushing your boundaries by crossing a line and or detaching and ghosting, pulling away, being emotionally unavailable. And it's going to be up to you to prove to the universe that you can handle that in a healthy manner for yourself. And if you can, then I think we've got something to work with and we could be looking at a level up. Yep. So that's what that looks like to me. 2026. And that's not to say, here's the thing. You want to calm down with the, I need to get married. I need a long-term relationship. I need monogamy. I need to cohabitate. You know, we got to let go, relax about it. Because when every single date you have, you're scanning, is he marriage material? Is he marriage material? That is so energetically loud to the other person. I can't even express in words what a disruptor it is. Instead, look at the people who are entering your life and be like, what is this showing me? Interesting. How does it make me feel? Interesting. I'm curious about this. What does it mean? Not, is this marriage material? Is this marriage material? Must have marriage material? No. Let it go. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Because it reads very, very loud, very even attracting what we don't want. Okay. Law of attraction. Because it's like, I need this. I want this. I'm looking for this and only this, must have this. And then you just attract more of nothing. Okay. More of nothing. Thank you, Anna. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Okay. Deborah Rose 9362 said, what's going on with an old friend, SS? Okay. Is that it? What's going on? Just in general? Deborah. Okay. What's going on with Deborah's old friend, SS? When I go over here with SS, I feel isolating. And I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but I feel some mental health problems going on. I feel drug and alcohol abuse, or you could say escapism and avoidance. This is someone who doesn't really want to process what they're feeling. I don't want to process what I'm thinking, so I'm not thinking at all. This is someone who hasn't learned how to get comfortable in the discomfort of life. And this is someone who tends to look outside for validation, outside for ideas of what to do with my life, outside for remedies and solutions and soothing, outside. Okay. So I'm not saying this is an extroverted person. The opposite. I feel like this is an introverted person, ironically, who doesn't go in all the way. So this is someone who may be socially awkward or isolating while simultaneously looking to people in the outside world for all their answers. This is someone who, in avoiding introspection, is not really showing up fully, if at all, for their relationships and tends to be very inconsistent. Even when they do show up. This person also has hot button issues or hot topics or trigger topics. So sometimes when you're dealing with them, they may not blow up at you, but they may seem as though they're throwing temper tantrums or isolating or detaching or, just going quiet, just ghosting. So some people, like this person, I would say also use it as a bit of a weapon. So it's like, if I'm going to be dealing with people, I'm going to train them like Pavlov's dog. I'm going to train them not to ask me this or say this to me or request anything of me or confront me on anything, or, you know what I mean? And there's like all these landmines where you can't go in conversation, and you learn never to bring up any of these things or talk to them in certain ways because they'll have a meltdown. They can't handle it. They'll disappear. You may not hear from them for years or whatever it is, right? So it is a form of manipulation. It's a form of manipulation for self-protection, I guess you could say, but it's manipulation nonetheless. That's what that looks like to me, is like someone who can't pull it together upstairs right now. I hope that helps. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. And we are going to move on to another one. I am just a little curious about who's producing. But anyways, you guys let me know. Okay, interesting. Edgar Velardes says, what messages would they like me to know right now regarding my work relationship with my boss, Cheryl? Okay, my job is called Starlight. Spirit just said, listen to her. So I don't know if you have a tendency to think that you know what she's going to say. It's almost like I'm predicting, that she's going to feel this way or think this way or say this thing because she has in the past. And it's important for you, even 3 weeks ago, this would have started. It's just important for you to really, really listen. I want to say that, you may have an attitude toward her or about her, like, oh, I do. I think that what she has to say is important. And I even think of her maybe as like a mentor, someone who can lead me through this process. But I do think that you need to almost make that more clear to her, whether it be with body language, facial expressions, just a little bit more presence. I feel like she can energetically feel, even though she seems fast, she's the kind of person who's like, fast, fast, fast. I'm onto this, I'm onto that, and I'm onto this. And a lot of times with people like that, people think, oh, they're not paying attention. She's clocking everything. She's clocking everything and doing that. So if you're presenting as though you're going through the motions when dealing with her, she may feel maybe not unappreciated necessarily, but sort of like, maybe you're not very serious, that you think you know everything, for example. And that's what you could do. So you could seem a little bit more, and bosses love that, right? You could just seem a little bit more engaged with everything she's saying, just a little bit more, eye contact, and asking questions, getting her feedback, and really understanding that she's got quite a lot of pull. Okay. So she's definitely one you want to be on the right side of. Very nice. Yeah. All in all, I think you're doing pretty good with her. I mean, there's no big message here about like anything major you need to change. Okay. Or that there would be any type of problem. She can be a little cutthroat, but stay on her good side. I think you're good to go. And I'm sure you will. Thank you, Edgar. Who do we have next? Deborah Rose. This is question number 2. You guys, this is unlimited. I can't do that all the time, but I can tonight. Deborah Rose said, question number 2. My boyfriend BB is number 2. Okay. What's the question? My BF BB is number 2. My best friend BB is number 2. My boyfriend BB is number 2. Let's try this. Let's spell this out and let's turn it into a question and then bring it back to me. Okay. Thank you. All right. Who else do we have? Well, we let that get fixed. Oh, it's a general question about, okay. Well, let's move on to we'll come back to that. Are we talking boyfriend? Are we talking best friend? Are we talking, what kind of question? I mean, what is this? All right, let's move on to Mella. Mella from TikTok says, I am just wondering about my love life. Anything you can tell me? Sure. Let's take a look at that. Mella, love life. What can we say about Mella's love life? I think you need to be very mindful that you do seem to attract, I'm getting almost like creepy crawler types, These are types that come up to you and are like, you need attention. You want attention. You want this. I think you want this. I have a lot to offer you. And they're really just looking to drain you. And you're just like, nah, I'm not hungry. Thank you. We're all starved. We're all eat cat food before I'm good. You have a way of like spotting it and being turned off by it, but it doesn't seem to be stopping it. Okay. So this idea of having a pattern, let's say, okay, you have a pattern of attracting people who like to come your way to convince you that they are useful to you and that you need them. So they may be willing to like go above and beyond the call of duty. They may be, really overly available to you. They could seem incredibly interested in you. But then you realize that it's really very one-sided. Everything they give comes with strings attached, and it's really more about them getting their ego stroked. And it's about them feeling as though they have some level of power or control over you so that they can continue to drain you. It's just funny to me that people really think they have convinced you of something, that they've got you like that. It's humorous, really. But it says that you may need to clear out your energy field. If I were you, I would do a ceremony. Okay, maybe just light a white candle and, when you're done, blow it out. You can write down maybe a list of things that you learned from previous relationships and you no longer care to attract. You can make another list of things that you are claiming and do want to attract to you that are higher vibrational. And then you can sort of release and let go, okay, of what no longer serves. Another option here is to do a cord cutting so that you can release whatever has happened in the past that has not been up to your standards, any old patterns, any old people, etc., etc. Especially the way you think about yourself seems to be attracting a lot of this. So we want to not be cautious and not be passive, but rather have a powerful attitude about who we are and what we will allow. Okay, like a queen, you are the queen on the throne, sitting, attracting, never chasing, and will probably reject most people that are fortunate enough to approach her. Okay. I think it's less questions about what's happening in relationships and more statements about what will be happening in your relationships. Your vibe needs to change, basically, so we could stop attracting this pattern. It needs to be more certain. Okay. I think that if you do this and we start blocking out some of this old energy, it may linger for a while, but just don't entertain it. It looks like you could have someone approaching you. I'm getting late 2026 going into the first, is it 2 months of 2027? I believe so. Yes. I thought maybe it was quarters, but I see January, February. Okay. So, you could find yourself talking to someone. I have dark hair and almost looks maybe like Italian or Latino. You could find yourself talking to someone who is very creative, very silly. You guys have dark humor together. There's a lot of intellectual stimulation. It's kind of like hanging out with a kid. Like you guys are both teenagers, like you're playing. It's silly. It's fun. And like the chemistry is right on. Okay. So it is effortless, at least for the first 3 to 4 months. It's effortless. And then it gets real. And then you're going to have to figure out whether you want to keep it or not. And that's a whole other can of worms. Okay. But have fun. All right. So cleanse and then start attracting different. Very good. Thank you, Mella. We are going to move on to another one. This is okay. So clarity on Deborah's question. Things feel off with my boyfriend B. Any clarity? There's a question. Okay. Things feel off with your boyfriend B. Any clarity? Let me go into his energy. Well, my jaw's popping. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sorry, it's gross, but that's stress, man. I mean, that is like, did you hear that? That is stress. Here, I grind his teeth. He may have ulcers or I don't know. He seems to not like process things in life. He may drink it away. He may F it away. He may smoke it away. He may fight it away. He may, you know what I mean? Like throw temper tantrums and like hate himself and like drive his ego and self-esteem down away. He may find toxic ways to avoid processing. In particular, how he feels about himself. He seems to feel as though his life is not going the way he wanted it to go. The problem, though, is that he didn't have a ton of plans. So it's kind of interesting to watch someone who didn't have like plan A, B, C, D, and I did absolutely everything in my power. Okay, I did everything in my power. He changed his mind about me. Okay, well, let me I'll let me do the reading and we'll, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to influence. I'll just tell you what I'm getting. But he didn't do everything in his power, okay, to like accomplish all of his goals. I don't even know that he really had outlined goals. So to reach a point in your life where you're pretty, ticked off about how things like aren't up to your standards when you didn't even have standards, or the standards you had, like you didn't really work very hard to get it done, right? That suggests to me entitlement and privilege. So he may have an attitude in life like he doesn't need to work for stuff. He doesn't need to earn anything. He doesn't need to earn anybody, right? He should just have. He should just be given. And that's not the reality that he's currently living in. So you're watching him be dissatisfied and displeased with his life because he is dissatisfied and displeased with himself, and not also caring to do anything about that to improve. Okay. So, how you choose to handle that is obviously up to your free will. But the bottom line is, when we look at relationships with other human beings, we have to abide by universal law. And that means that both people in the relationship have to be growing as individuals, or there's no relationship. It will implode. It's impossible. Okay. So if he's not doing that and you are doing that, we got a problem here. Okay. And your approach with him is pretty obvious. I mean, there's nothing, you can have nothing with him. You can talk with him from time to time, or you can have, I guess, some contact if you feel like you can tolerate it, but it can't latch onto you, leech from you, right? Drain your energy. That's not allowed. Or you're going to have negative karmic kickback where the universe says you are not protecting yourself. So I'm not going to protect you. And we don't even want to go there. Okay. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what he's dealing with. It's always funny to watch someone, and I'm sorry you're going through that. Very frustrating to watch. But, I did a video the other day where I was giving a reading at someone, and I said, a lot of my exes would come back even years later and be like, I don't know what happened. I don't understand. I'm like, how are you still confused after years and years and time to process? And I told you everything. Like, I gave you the tools. How are you still not picking up these tools? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, well, I miss you and I don't understand. And I thought you loved me. I do love you. You don't love you. So I'm out because I'm not your mom. That's what this looks like to me. All right. Thank you, Deborah. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Next up is Kayleen on TikTok. Kayleen says, I have been seeing a man named Jay on and off, but I know he is not the one. I am so tired of being alone. When will I find the one? Okay. Well, first of all, let me look at him and see if this is something you should be entertaining. It's okay. I mean, it's, I'm not surprised you're not feeling a whole heck of a lot. There's not even a contract here, but it's not toxic. So maybe it's fun. I don't know. You have a grandmother who's coming through putting jelly beans down, like, look for the jelly beans. And do you like jelly beans? What color jelly beans? I feel like he may be pretty good at being like, I got this for you. I have this for you. Some flowers, some jelly beans. Let's spend some time together. Like, it's okay. It's nice. It's just shallow is the thing. But it could be deeper. You don't even want it to go deeper anyways, okay? Because you are so focused on like, when can I get the one? When can I get the one? When can I have the one? The one, the one, the one. The one is a societal construct put together by the patriarchy, capitalism, and religion, colonization. It isn't real. There is no one. Twin flames are a money-making myth con job. There's no proof of them in astrology, numerology, the universe at all. And all we get, that's, I guess if you want to call it the one or the closest thing to the one, you get 5 to 6 soulmate options, 5 to 6 over the course of your life. That's general for most people, 5 to 6 options. Those are work contracts. And you could pick one of those if you want to make it the one, but there is no the one. You're not a half of a whole. You're whole. Okay. So this is where you're going wrong, is believing in a fantasy that was sold to you by toxic systems. When do you have another soulmate coming in? That would be a better question. 2 years. You got to let go of some stuff from the past. You're stuck on some things from the past. Somebody who's also like abusive or lying is still lingering in your energy. I would clear that out. I would do a cord cutting. I would do a releasing ceremony, clean your energy field and your aura out so you're not attracting any more of that. Or reading is, you do read to people as being unavailable. Now, they don't know why. They may think you're lying, or they may think, you know what, she seems unavailable, or like she's maybe still tied up with somebody else. So I don't really care. So when you read as being unavailable, you only attract losers who don't care that you're not available because they don't want you for anything more anyways. So we clean our energy field out and we are present and aligned and available. Okay. And then you attract higher vibration. You need to honor every relationship that you have for what it is. Soulmate, soul tribe, karmic even. You need to honor those instead of being like, you're not the one. I don't want to deal with you. You're not the one. This is of low value to me. You're not the one. I'm not even present with you here. My mind is somewhere else. I wish you were the one. Okay. It's a slap in the face. And then you end up not having any real connections at all because where's the one? Where's the one? Where's the one? It's programming. It's societal programming. It's toxic and it's not real. It doesn't exist. Okay. So when this other, soulmate comes in, when this person comes in, hopefully you'll be ready and you would have done some of this work. And then you guys can really be present for one another. But that's, also going to be reliant a lot upon whether or not they're doing the work on themselves. Not all soulmate connections just automatically work out. They could be very, very challenging. I would say most of them don't. Okay. So even the one isn't the one usually, but it can be done. And you've got 2 years to prepare. So yeah, start handling relationships differently. That's what I would suggest, and get rid of that fantasy. Okay. It's not in alignment with universal law. There are a couple other people you're going to meet in the meantime. I want to say 3 over the course of the upcoming 2 years that prepare you to be ready for that one. One is a karmic partner. That's going to be the last one for the soulmate comes in. So we don't want to get tied up in that for too long. But all of these need to be honored. Yeah, it'll be a very interesting journey, I think. All right. Thank you, Kayleen. We're going to move on to another one. And who is next? Mackenzie. Okay. Mackenzie, I've been firm on my boundaries with CDW recently. What can I expect from him over the next couple weeks? Mackenzie, CDW, boundaries, next couple weeks. Nothing. I just more of the same is what I'm hearing here. So, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. God, this person is patterned AF. This is an individual who is this way right now in their life, will be this way in their 50s, will be this way probably in their 70s, will be this way forever. This is a person who determined somewhere between like 8 and 12 years old that like, this is who I am. And it was reinforced at 19. This is who I am. And this is who I will be. And if I can't get my way, or if my way isn't working, I will bulldoze. I will cross boundaries. I will manipulate. I will deceive. I will hustle. I will do what I have to do. I will do what I have to do to try to get my way. That's it. This isn't even a tough read. I mean, what you know of this person, and there's a lot that you haven't fully processed yet, or haven't fully seen, or haven't been ready and willing to accept. You're going to be getting more and more of that over the next 2 to 3 years. Like, okay, I'm remembering. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm seeing how much of a manipulator this person was, and really how dark it is. The more you accept it, the more you're going to realize that this person has a formula, has always had a formula, and someone like that will always have a formula. Okay. And that's it. He is patterned. So you can expect more of the same in the next few weeks. Just trying to get your attention and energy, and then just kind of pulling back. What he would really like to do with you, I think, is to pull you in emotionally and then kind of drop kick you. So he definitely has a goal, but I don't feel like it's new. Okay. So I don't expect anything new here at all. Just the same energy of trying to pull you in, to get you to trust, only to pull the rug out from under you. That's what you can expect if you play into it. So keep your boundaries set, because there's nothing with someone like this. They typically have to go through something very dramatic or traumatic in life. And then if through that experience they decide to become enlightened or evolve or go to therapy or heal, maybe there's a shot at some change. But even then, it's like, not a guarantee. I got bugs in here. I left the door open all day. I'm going to use my fan as a fly swatter. I think it's just starting to drive me nuts. Hopefully you guys can't see it. I know on my last show, there was one that kept like landing on the camera. Thank you. Thank you, Mackenzie. Let's move on to another one. Who else do we have? Does a reading on relationship with self work for tonight's show? Yes, a reading on yourself, a reading on if you have like an addiction or a bad habit, or reading on a situation, your relationship to anything, including your relationship to yourself, absolutely would fit in with today's show topic. All right, we are going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Just a reminder, you guys, if you didn't already do so, please give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. In particular, I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. And if your reading is resonating with you, if you could drop a little testimonial, we'll pop it up on the screen. It's good for everyone to see. And if you are here on YouTube, please do hit the hype button. And if everyone could subscribe and also share this video. I'm sure there's someone who follows you in your social media who could definitely use this tonight. There's a lot going on in the astrology with relationships right now, like a lot of X activity as well. I won't even get into it. All right, let's move on. We've got Tiffany W from TikTok. Is Tony... Okay, so Tiffany wants to know if is Tony capable of a relationship? See what's going on here. Tony is capable of a relationship, but Tony isn't interested in having a relationship. Tony is interested in having the perks of a relationship, like feeling emotionally cared for, looking like I'm paired up, and so it makes me look more important. Gaining social currency, extracting free labor from you. Tony wants the perks of a relationship, but Tony doesn't want to be in a relationship. So someone like Tony could agree to do it for the wrong reasons. And as long as you keep paying for it, then, but it's kind of like, having a knockoff handbag. It's like, you always know it's a knockoff. Like I could never, when I lived in New York, I could never, I can't have a cheap handbag. I know what the real label is. I know the stitching. I know the smell of the leather. I know the interior lining. I know where the plaque should go. I know too much. I can't go back. It's like anyone who deals with him knows that it's a knockoff. And I think fewer and fewer people are willing to do that And so he may be becoming more willing to like fake it better, right? Like pretend, like up my game, like perform to a higher degree. But his idea of performing is very cat and mouse. It's almost like chase me, chase me. If he pulls back, he thinks you'll want it more. Therefore, you'll ask for less, you'll give more. And then he got exactly what he wanted. Does that make sense? Don't fall for it. Is he capable? Sure, he's capable, but like he's only capable of extracting at this stage in life because he doesn't want it. I think if this individual reached a point where they genuinely wanted human connection, they would know that people are not supposed to be used. They would value themselves more. They would have a greater sense of empathy for others and look for more connection, community, higher vibration lifestyle. So it's like you can sort of see everything from where this person is and be like, that's all kind of low level stuff, right? So we don't collect red flags, right? Is it capable? Yeah. Is it going to be real? No. It's a knockoff. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. And we're going to move on to another one. This is for Tony Ramos, 8853. Tony says, Neldy Perez reached out to me to see me and talk. Okay, but will she ever take me serious or only wants me around for what I can provide? Will she take you serious or only wants to be provided for? Didn't I tell you this? Didn't this just come up? It's stroking my ego because I swear to God, I saw this. I swear to God, I just told you this. I don't know when that reading or what that reading was, but that's the one. That's what I was saying. It's identical. So is it serious? No. And I don't remember the whole reading, but I'm tapping right back into, I'm having a full deja vu. And I rarely can go right back into a reading. I mean, it has to be within a very short period of time. And this is identical. This is someone who, so hopefully I warned you about this when it came up before. This is someone who doesn't know entirely who they are. They're not mature yet. There's some new research that says that the brain isn't done developing at like 25, 27. It's 25 for women, 27 for men, they used to say. Now they're saying your prefrontal cortex, the judgment part of your brain. Now they're saying this finishes developing around 32, 33. And that makes a lot more sense. And when we look at situations like this, it's like, this person almost feels like they're kind of coming out of it, the fog of youth or something. It's like the fog of, I don't know, maybe smoking too much pot or like just not really caretaking, doing self-maintenance on my thoughts and my feelings. Okay. Not being in my own skin. This is someone who looks toward the outside world for escapism, avoidance, answers, and I agree with you, caretaking. So when we're maturing, we start being introspective. We look inside ourselves to see what's untapped and what other skills can I work with and how can I provide for myself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right? Financially, if I didn't already say that, like resources, how can I provide the things I need in my life? Not this person. So this person, and you have a grandfather coming in who's saying wounded healer syndrome, you attract these types in patterns because you love being the hero. You may have a hero complex, you may have a God complex, you may have wounded healer syndrome, which basically means that you attract people that you can fix, that you can save, that you can salvage, that you can caretake over. You attract them because you want to rescue them. And it's not because you love them necessarily. It's because it gets you high. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel powerful. So there may be an area of your life where you need to look and be more introspective. Okay. And say, where do I feel out of control? Where do I not feel powerful enough? Where do I need to work on self-empowerment so that I stop getting entangled with these types of people? Because you are attracting what you essentially are. No, this isn't serious, but she doesn't totally know that. So have the conversation if you're going to have the conversation, but don't expect to get clarity. Like, this isn't the type of person you could say, I think you just want me to be there for you and to receive all the benefits of having me in your life, supporting you, but I don't think you're really like in love with me or interested in building with me. And that person would say, wow, you're right. You're right, Tony. You got me. You got me. Like, that is never going to happen in a million years. Okay. So I don't know what the point is of the conversation, but maybe to see the delusion. Sometimes that's a good dose of reality that we need. Yeah, she likes to be provided for 100%. Isn't that the second one we got in a row like that? Are we developing a collective message here that we're all attracting people right now that just want to be cared for, like we are their parents? No, we have to say no. And why do I keep attracting people like that? Because there must be something in me that isn't healed. Okay. So this is a bit of a wake-up call because I'm starting to see a pattern here. I think even 3 readings, not in a row, but I would say tonight that's the collective message, our first collective message. Thank you, Tony. We're going to move on to another one. This is Nicole W on TikTok. Nicole W says, do I have a significant relationship coming my way this year? Okay, so 2026, platonic or romantic, doesn't matter to me. Okay, thank you. Nicole, 2026, platonic or romantic, significant relationship. I keep hearing November and the first 2 weeks of October. Why did that go backward? I don't know. I'm not going to color it. Spirit's weird sometimes. Oh, these are 2 different people. Okay. What is that? Dating. And this is a friend. A friend with benefits, situationship. If you like, those can be fun. Hold on. I got to fix this puzzle. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. So it looks like November, you're dating someone who seems very charming. This could be an individual who's very, I just keep hearing like invested or investing in you. This is someone who wants to invest in you. So this person could be regularly calling, which is very different than, WID. Good morning. Good night. Good morning. Good night. Good morning. Okay. Please. This is someone who calls you on the phone. All right. And is like, there's this great restaurant. Was wondering if you're free on Friday night. I wanted to give you enough time in advance. You know what I mean? If you're not free Friday, I could try to work something out Saturday. Here's where it is. Come pick you up. Got a reservation, whatever, can get a reservation. This is someone who wants to go on little excursions too. So I don't know if this is like museums or some of this looks funny. It's like, let's go see the mummy exhibit, and you're like little kids. It's like this grown ass person, but also this child. Like, you guys have a good time. I don't know that this is like your, maybe forever person, if we want to call it that, or if this is someone you decide to really lock it down with. but this is definitely someone you're enjoying spending time with, and they really, really enjoy spending time with you. And so it has a sort of underlying friendship feel, even if things were to separate at some point and they were to sort of go on. Now that might happen more around January, the middle of January of 2027, but where they were maybe talking to other people or getting tied up in work, maybe you're talking to some other people, whatever, it's fine. You guys are still like, you're cool. You'll still talk from time to time, and maybe you will start up again. Sometimes we start dating someone and it's not really the right time to like convert it into an entire relationship, but you revisit it a few years later, and that's fine. It's like an ongoing book. There are many chapters. Okay. That's how real relationships are anyways, especially when there are contracts involved. And I think there is one here. Now, this October, the first 2 weeks of October, this other person feels like a friend, but I heard friend with benefits as soon as I wrote it down. And then I heard situationship. So you could find yourself talking to someone who is just that. I mean, it's up to you. If you're not into that, or even if at that time you're like, no, I'm really looking for something more serious, that's okay. You don't have to do it, of course, but it does feel like one of those friendships that can turn into something more if we toy around casually with some other things, like a situationship, like a friends with benefits. I don't want to just dive right into like a monogamous circumstance. That's okay. I see this as testing the waters. Okay. Both feel like a lot of fun. I think what you're really doing for the rest of the year is like just meeting people on your level. Like they want to have fun. You want to have conversation. You want to have adventures. You want to have experiences. You want to keep everything high vibrational. It's cute. Enjoy. Thank you. We're going to move on to another one. Okay. Who do we have next? Deborah Rose. Deborah Rose. Can I get a general reading about the relationship with the people at my company? Okay, general on the people at the company. All right, this is going to be real general, okay, because there are like quite a few people there. So I'm just going to spit out whatever random things are coming up. There's a lady there who may bleach her hair and may be a little bit more plump. She may have a lot of crash diets going on. And she can sometimes have an attitude problem where she nitpicks on detail, or she sticks her nose in where it really doesn't belong. She seems okay most of the time. Like she's not the worst person to talk to, but you may also not fully trust her. Like you're not sure if she'll throw you under the bus. So you would almost put money on it that if she had an opportunity, she would, or if she was rubbed the wrong way. And you never know why. I don't know, because it's Tuesday. You don't know. You just don't know. Okay. So you may keep your distance there a bit. There also seems to be a man. I get two different guys. I get a guy who is younger than the other one. I don't think significantly. I mean, he looks better than the other one. You've got one who's like balding and overweight, big belly, just nasally, sort of asthmatic, just kind of, it's like, damn, you okay? He wears his age. I mean, he's rough. And then, he seems a little nicer, but he seems confused, and like a lot of things may fall through the cracks with him. He doesn't always do his job very well, and that could negatively affect everyone. And then he gets real offensive about it when called out on it. It's like, well, I didn't do that. It's like, no, you didn't do that. That's the issue, Don. Okay. So he doesn't really own, I mean, you could tell from the outside, he doesn't own his energy or his choices or his life very well. Then you got this other one who's like more trim, like looks quite a lot younger, like he looks healthier. He's a little type A, a little controlling, kind of manipulative, but he gets shit done. He mostly focuses on his own stuff. He may have like salt and pepper, maybe had darker hair, like salt and pepper now. But like he mostly just focuses on his own stuff. So like you can go to him sometimes and he could seem very helpful and appreciative. And he's like real good with the eye contact and open body language and making you feel like, yeah, I'm going to help you with that. But I don't know where he goes. I mean, he may never follow through because it wasn't his stuff. If it isn't his, he doesn't really care. So it could be hard to sometimes rope him down and get him to finish and follow through with what he agreed to. And that's how he sets boundaries. That's how he's like, don't come to me with your stuff. Okay. Your stuff is your stuff. My stuff is my stuff. He may travel quite a lot. He may drink a lot. There's another lady there who seems on the quiet side, and I'll wrap it up with this. But she actually talks a lot. She does a lot of backstabbing. So be careful with the quiet ones. Sometimes it's better to know your enemy. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's better to know like people who talk too much about everyone else and are up in everyone's business and don't really have a life outside of work. At least you got their ticket, you got their number, you know what you're dealing with. Quiet people, they can sometimes be the worst. So I would be careful with the other quiet person there. Okay. There's a rundown. Okay. There are other people, obviously, but that's what we have time for. Thank you, Deborah. Interesting. You seem to be just kind of doing your own thing, keeping your head down, climbing the ladder. Got to go to work. The crazy Build-A-Gladdy. The crazy Build-A-Gladdy. Tanya S. Okay, let's go with that. Tanya S. says, according to my life contract reading a few years ago, I have one final love or marriage in my life. Is this Mark W, or will I meet my last love soon? It's not Mark W. Okay. So Mark is very numb. You know, sometimes you look at Mark and you're like, is anyone home? Is anyone in there? And that's not, you know, just because he's like aloof or an air sign or, you know, taking it light. There's nothing in there, you know. So I think what you're looking for is more depth. And I think you may want to examine that. You know, in order to attract to you what it is that you really want, you need to sometimes examine what you don't want. And you may want to look, instead of trying to, I guess we could say, sugarcoat, or trying to force a square peg in a round hole, or whatever it is, you know, that you're kind of doing here with Mark or other people, looking at them with rose-colored glasses, maybe hoping for it to be something more than what it really is. Look at it raw. Look at it with honesty. You know, just do a clear evaluation on what is there and what isn't there, and what just seems a little weird or off about this person, and acknowledge how you feel about that. If something seems weird to you, it's because your soul is targeting it, like identifying it, and saying, you know, not connecting with this thing, or this person can't connect, right? Or they're connected somewhere else. Like no one's home. And what you really want is a greater sense of presence, more of the telepathy, more of the clear empathy, more of you guys being able to, you know, speak without sharing a word, or finish each other's sentences, to maybe even know just simple things like what the other person wants for dinner, or when they're hungry, or whatever, you know. It's very simple. I always say you cannot create a connection, nor can you destroy one. So it is either there or it isn't. And this is very uncomplicated, right? It's either there or it isn't, and it's not here. So, you know, where else? It does feel like you have somebody coming in. I would even say in about a year. And so make sure you're not too tied up with other things at that time. If you know you're dealing with things that aren't it, don't invest in those things. Okay. You can deal in those things. You don't have to heavily invest in those things. Be locked down into those things so that you're unavailable for the real thing. Okay. When it comes around. But it does feel like in about a year, someone showing up here who, I smell leather interior BMW. Is this a Mercedes? This is a BMW. I don't know. You know, You got rid of the BMW for Mercedes. Something's going on here. I don't know if these are goals or if this is literal. I want to go with literal. This person seems to possibly work in finance or like did and then now runs some things. It's like I run some things. It's pretty heavy into stocks and travel, but it's like I always like to go to the same restaurants. I always like to order the same 5 things. I always like to go to the same countries. I've always got Italy on the map. I'm always looking for my next vacation. You know, it's always like the same. This person is patterned and routine and maybe a little neurospicy. Very cute. Very cute. Very successful. Tapping into that neurospicy brain instead of letting it inhibit. Brilliant. Okay, so have fun, but keep your options open. Thank you, Tanya. We're going to move on to another one. Tweedledee Design said a general reading. Okay, Tweedledee Design. General reading on what? On love, on friendships, on family, on... Did I miss something? Was there something more there? Tweedledee Design. Deborah Rose said it's true. He's like a cat. That's too funny. Love. Okay. Tweedledee Design, general reading on love. I feel you're being a little dissatisfied. I have you looking at love partnerships and being like empty. This is empty. Maybe feeling as though you went through a period of time where you blamed yourself and you said, is it me? You know, or is it who I choose? Or why is it like this? Or, you know, I think that in recent years, you've pulled your energy back. You've set better boundaries. And you've said, I'm not going to just excessively give to people because I have found in patterns, friendships and romantic partners, maybe even family, that when you needed them, they really weren't there. You didn't maybe ask for them and feel rejected by them, but they didn't just naturally show up when you were going through difficulty. And they may not have celebrated really for you when they should have. And you may have recognized patterns where things were very one-sided. You know, even in discussion, it's like they're just talking about themselves and da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, and they don't really even give me the mic for a minute, or I better hurry up and use it effectively, you know, and if they respond at all, it's like one-word answers, and that's right back onto them. Like they really just don't seem to care. So I think what's going on is that you've reached a place where you're feeling as though you are disappointed in the lack of depth and reciprocity. You are setting boundaries, which is a great step forward. And all of this is coming to your past and into your present energy. And I think going forward, what you can expect and what you should be focused on is more self-love, your relationship with you, romanticizing your life, dating yourself, taking yourself out on dates, quite literally, making sure that all of your needs are met above and beyond the call of duty, that you are giving yourself rest, that you are giving yourself pampering, that you're not saying no to yourself. Maybe even some solo travel would be really wise in here. Solo travel where you can go out and meet other people. This also doesn't have to be, you know, this doesn't even have to be long distance. This could be like, I'm joining a class, I'm joining a dance class, I'm joining a drumming class, an art class, a spiritual group, you know, but I'm going alone. I'm not bringing a friend along, you know, I'm going alone so I can meet other people, like-minded people, open up the horizon here. All right. I think that you could find yourself talking to someone if you're open to it in the I'm hearing 6 months. I was going to say the upcoming year, but then it jumped back. It went backward between the 6th and the 7th month. And they could really want to lock down some time with you. But again, they may talk too much. You may be like, shut up. My God, I don't want to go out with you because I can hear you in my dreams. It's like haunting. It's like in my nightmares. You know what I mean? Some people just, I don't know what the hell they need. They just need so much. It's like, damn, you know. Now, the problem here is that this person does actually reciprocate and listen and is an active listener. But I don't know if because of what you've been through, it's just rubbing you the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know if you choose to go twice. Okay. But I feel like it's a value. And I think you need to speak up for yourself more. So maybe you could be like, thank you. That's good. Quiet moment. Personal space, or I just need to take a moment of silence, or I have to get up and use the restroom and go hide in there for a while or something. Take breaks from people. Learn how to set your boundaries, right? So we can enjoy those people who do have it to give, but maybe are annoying. That kind of went a little all over the place. Sorry about that. But anyways, that's what it looks like. Thank you, Tweedledee's Design. And we're going to move on to another one. Jesse laughing at that. I don't know. Okay, Tony Ramos. You know what? How many more do we have? Because I do have to use the restroom in a minute. I could do one more and then I have to use the restroom and check on the cat. Can you just let me know in the comment section how many more we have waiting? Tony Ramos says paid CA. Okay, CA. Should I go to Puerto Rico with Neldy Perez next week? Would that help spark anything even after coming back from Puerto Rico? No. You could go to Puerto Rico to have a good time. You could go to Puerto Rico to see family. Go to Puerto Rico to eat great food. You go to Puerto Rico to go to Puerto Rico, but don't go because you're overreaching and hoping that it sparks something. Okay, let me just put it to you this way. There is no amount of tropical paradise. And travel doesn't tend to work well in these types of situations. It can be the real ball busting situation, right? So maybe you should. Maybe you need to see that. Maybe you need to have that happen. But I think that what you're trying to do here in general is overreach. So if you want to go. But if you're doing it to try to spark something, to try to overreach, to try and manipulate a situation that is void of authenticity and convert it, manipulate it, force it into something more, you're going to feel triggered, unfulfilled, agitated, maybe even aggressive, right? Maybe emotional, like a lot of crybaby energy. Right? Very emotional. You're going to feel that instead of hopeful and enjoyment, you know, and enlightenment and optimism. It's not a good time. Even if you can play the part and you have the whole world around you interacting and making it easy for you, there's an undertone. So the goal here with any relationship should be, let it be what it is. I want to see it authentically. I don't want to try to force it to be anything more than what it is. And I think that when you look at this relationship, you already have all your answers based on patterns. Patterns never lie. Words lie. People lie. Desires lie. Your own desires lie. But patterns never lie. Okay. So just consider that in going. But yeah, I mean, it could be fun just because of where you're going. Okay. But no, it's not, it's not going to spark anything. You can't get blood out of a rock. There's nothing authentic going on here. Nope. And that would take, for this individual to be ready for something like that, not just with you, but with anyone, she first has to meet herself. And we're looking at least 3 to 5 years and some heavy therapy. All right. I do have to run to the restroom. And yes, Mairead, we have time for as many questions as you want to do. I do just have to run to the restroom real quick and check on the cat. Okay. Thanks, you guys, for being patient. I will be right back. All right, thank you for being patient. Let's see where we are. Okay, I'm ready if you're ready. Who do we have next? Okay. Oh, hey, Kim. Oh, wow. All right. 2 producers already tonight. But thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Okay. We'll figure it all out later. Mackenzie on YouTube said, "What can I see in my romantic life coming in?" What do I see in your romantic life coming in? Mackenzie, romantic? Well, I heard that you could be dealing with someone who isn't actually very romantic, which is interesting. You could have someone coming in who is a little bit more logical. Okay, a little bit more factual. Maybe this person has some Sagittarius or Capricorn in their big 3, but they can be a little blunt or dry and maybe very work oriented. I'm focused on the facts. I'm not trying to create fantasy here. And you may feel like something's broken, something's off, but you also feel pretty attracted to this person. I just want to say don't force it, because you have a tendency to want to take things and extend them, make them out to be something more than what they are, or to see if there's something more. Well, I'll extend my time with this person to see if there's something more. Sometimes there's just nothing more. That's all. That's all she wrote. You get together, there is attraction, but there are deficits, and something about them is a little off-putting, and goodbye, and I'll see you in the next life. That can be all there is. To drag it out doesn't necessarily equate to higher value or answers or anything more at all. Okay. It's just wasted time. So I think you're looking at this person coming in here, and I think you're supposed to, the lesson here, or the test here, is to ask yourself very honestly whether or not you feel that there's some type of chemistry, that is worth exploring, or if you feel that this person is sort of abrupt and short and unromantic and a little too much of a realist for you. Okay. And even though you feel some type of physical or sexual attraction, you feel like, I can't, I don't want to try to force it. We'll see what you choose to do. Hello, ma'am. Oh, she just ate shrimp. She got her fancy feast. You got your fancy feast on? She reeks. Oh my God. So I think that, the other thing is that Ezzy, we're not even going to start that. I think that the other thing is that you may want to make a list at this time of different types of people that you want to attract, or different types of characteristics, that you want to draw into you, because it feels a little bit like you're getting a weird hodgepodge of different people. Okay. So there could also be 3 other people that you find yourself talking to, and you're not sure how far you want that to go, but they all seem completely different. So a real mix coming in here for a while. Okay. Make a list of what you want specifically. Let's see if we can narrow it down a little bit more. All right. Thank you, Mackenzie. We're going to move on to another one. Nigeria Love on TikTok said general love reading. Nigeria Love. General love reading for Nigeria Love. What do we have coming in for Nigeria? Somebody very bossy. Someone who wants to, you may like this. You may be like, oh yeah, tell me what to do, and then you're kind of like, I'll punch you in the throat. Like, not now, or don't talk to me that way, or you know what I mean? It feels a little all over the place. I don't know if you like this or you don't like this, but this person doesn't seem to care whether you like it or not. I mean, then that's what makes it authentic, is that this person's a little bit of a bulldozer. You got somebody they may have strong Leo placements, okay? You have an individual who is letting you know how they feel, who's letting you know that they want to spend time with you, who's letting you know where you guys are going, okay? And like it's handled and all that. Also putting in some opinions sometimes, maybe when you didn't ask. So you could be talking about like career or your ideas or places you've been or what your opinion is, and they may have strong opinions. And sometimes you're just sort of wondering if you guys would really butt heads, I want to say, because early on in a relationship, I think with anybody, and we all tend to do this, we're a little bit more agreeable, because there's no stake in the game. It's like, whatever, so you're a little bit more agreeable, but I see you looking at this person and being like, I wonder if we're going to fight a lot, or I wonder if that would get on my nerves. I give that 3 months, and then I'm going to attack. It's like, hard to say where this goes, and it's up to you guys, of course, but I think this is a person who's very interested in spending more time with you. This is someone who isn't controlling for the sake of power and authority and to use you up and control you. They're controlling because they're controlling. They're type A. This is just how they are, right? Some people are like that, and it isn't a threat. It's like he probably build a house, whittle sticks from a tree that he planted himself and build, you know what I mean? He could probably handle business. This could be good, but I don't know that you also are used to fully expressing yourself. And this is the second collective message I'm getting here tonight, because I got this for somebody else, and I think I got it earlier tonight. If you don't express yourself, and in moments when you feel like you have something more to say, or you want to test the other person, or you want to test the situation, when you hold back and don't express yourself, it starts to build like a brick wall, like a weird energy looming in the relationship. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until there's almost this feeling between two people like there's an elephant in the room. We don't know what it is, where it came from, what it's wearing, why it's there. We don't know, like, where did this come from? It's you. So just make sure that you're expressing yourself. That's what this person is coming into your life to encourage you to do, because it's either get bulldozed or express yourself, basically. But I like this. I think this could be a lot of fun for you. You seem to like it. I don't know. I don't know where it goes, but have a good time. Thank you. We're going to move on to another one. Anna Teresa 10. Anna Teresa 10 says, do you see me having fun dating this summer, or will I find myself focusing more on myself? Will it be fun this summer? I think you could have some fun, but I think that the people that you could have fun with, there are two. The other ones are not fun. You've got one person who thinks they're fun, but they're actually just an alcoholic. You've got another one who, I don't know, they want to have fun, but then they have like an anxiety attack the whole time. Some people have that where it's like, okay, I'm so anxious now. Like, it's not, this is awkward. This isn't fun at all. And it's like, that's okay, for the first few minutes or an hour or whatever, but like, they're like that forever. Like, they never come out of it. They never ease up. And it's like, dang, I don't know, maybe they're off their meds or something. Then you've got these other two. Let's just focus on those, okay, where it does feel fun and it feels regularly scheduled. I'm hearing it's time for your regularly scheduled show or something. And these look like shows. These look like concerts or performances, or some type of like festivals or something. It looks like a real good time. So I think that yes, there could be two people. The one is a little bit ghosty. The other one, but always comes back, you know. The other one is literally more consistent. It's like you guys are always kind of working into the next, at least in conversation, working into the next date. And the rest of the time, you do seem to be pulling back a little ways. Around July and August, you seem to want to be more introspective. So, you know, allow for that and honor that, because if you've got a couple dates in a row that are looking like duds, it's a sign. It's time to pull back. Okay. Thank you, Anna Teresa. Let's move on to another one. Who else do we have? Next up is Jessica G. So Jessica G wants a general reading for professional relationships at work. Okay, professional relationships. So just general. Jessica G, any messages for work relationships? Feels like you could be building with someone who's in a position of significant authority and has some significant connections. This feels like you have one male option for this, you have one female option for this. So I don't think it's a pick or choose. I think it's a work both avenues, you know, type of an idea here. It's an important time for you to, I'm not saying brown nose or schmooze anyone, but it's like, you know, trying to have more in-depth conversations, lingering longer, allowing for more time, bringing in more humor, trying to find things that you have in common, whether it be like music or travel or, you know, TV shows, you know, keep coming up here, like just interests in general. And hi, Ezzy, we love you. We love you. Hi, Mama. I think that what you could see with this is that you're taking I heard Candyland Lane. You know, at the end of Candyland, there are two of them, right? There are two shortcuts, but at the end, the shortcut takes you to like win the game. Okay, that's the one I'm seeing. The second one. Stop. Good Lord. It's like a horse. So anyways, it's like you take that second one, you go over, okay, and to the end. So if not both of these people, at least the one, I believe the female, could take you to higher places. And that's mostly just through like their connections, their word of mouth, okay, their drive and desire to see you have more, okay, and to do better. And that's nice. I do think that there's someone you want to avoid. This person may color their hair to make it look lighter, maybe smaller, talks too much, and then like always has this crooked smile, this like smirk, like watches and, you know, then gossips and causes problems and suggests that people didn't like do their jobs properly. It's like just someone to avoid. Stay away from stress, you know, and I know it's easier said than done, that work can be stressful, but we really can't improve these situations by always, with people like that, having an exit strategy. They come towards you, you move away. They say something, you answer with one word. You don't make eye contact. You don't have to do good morning and good night. And you could be nice, you know, you could be professional, but you don't have to engage. And I wouldn't. All right. Thank you, Jessica G. We have another one coming in here for Maraid. And then Maraid, when we're at the end, if we could just pop up, or Kim or whoever's producing right now, if we could just pop up testimonials, any feedback at the end. If we have time, that would be awesome, because we didn't do any throughout the show. Maraid said, hi, Ivy, can you tell me what to expect in my love life or relationships over the next 3 months? Okay, love life and relationships. What to expect my love life or relationships. Okay, so just like relationships in general or love life for the next 3 months. And we are currently in May, right? So let's say June, July, August. So let's say June, July, and August. June, July, August, Maraid. June, July, August, June, second week of June, going into the third week. You have somebody new coming in who's quite forceful. I don't know if people are just popping out this way this summer. What the hell's going on? You got an individual coming to you, dark hair, kind of bigger, like wider, like testosterone coming at you. Okay. And this individual seems to want to like get together. I want to lock this down, meaning just like the date or the get together. It seems like it's fun. This could be someone that you're meeting through gaming. This could be someone who like, maybe you're not, but like they are a gamer too, or like you guys enjoy the same hobbies. It feels very playful. It's like, let's go do this. So you're like, that is something I've been wanting to do, but like none of my friends wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Or like, I love that you suggested going there. It isn't like a tacky first date. It's like, this is perfect for us. And it's a lot of fun. I think that you guys may be a little sci-fi. What the heck am I looking at here? I don't know. That's not really my cup of tea. Like none of this, I'm not super familiar with what I'm looking at here, but let's just say you guys go somewhere where it's like, you know, you go on a ride and it's all like AI or what's the word I'm looking for? Animatronic, or it's very like, you know, and then it's like next time we're going to go to a museum that's that way, or like I'm playing these games, but I'm very like, I don't even know. I'm so behind on tech. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. And I don't even own a TV. So I don't even know. Okay. But it's a lot of fun. It's like I'm in this world. I'm in this alternate universe. Like you guys like to live in an alternate universe together, almost like your characters, like you're playing characters. It's a little odd. And it really works. So this person seems to have a lot of money also. I don't want to get you stuck on this one, but this person also seems to have a lot of money. And it's like, I don't even count. It's like, how do I want to say this? Some people have a wealth mentality and it's like, I know what I want and I'm going to go get that thing because I want it. And that raises my vibration to be in it. I don't look at the price tag. So what a lot of people with a poverty mentality do is they look at the price tag and they say, I will want it if I can afford it. It's like, you just lied. You just lied to yourself. You just told the universe, you know, you're not deserving of it. So it's like this person goes the opposite way. And that's in part how they built their wealth, was just like rolling with it. So they just, you know, on whatever you guys want to do, whatever's going to be a fun experience, I'm paying on it. I'm paying for it. You never open your wallet. So I like this. You guys also seem to be foodies. So a lot of like desserts and dinner and like nice drinks and maybe even like alcoholic coffee martinis or something. I mean, even the milkshakes or the coffees seem to be like Irish cream or something. So, and then we're walking around, we're having a good time. Then there seems to be, okay. And then there seems to be July going into August, last week of July going into August. Seems like you're talking to a female who wants to have more, I heard, direct contact or consistent contact. And so this could be a friendship, but it feels like a sisterhood, which can mean there's some past life connection here, you know, and they're not really saying to you like, I want to be your friend, let's hang out more, but they're consistently, you know, reaching out, and the universe is providing you guys with opportunities to be together. And that to me is always the sign of a relationship of any kind that's supposed to happen, is the universe is putting the two of you together. All right. And so that's a value. You may have a little family issue in the middle, and just like, don't allow it. Other people's drama, family or not, no one is an extension of you. Have your boundaries set and keep them so that your summer isn't ruined. Okay. Because it really doesn't have to be. It's really not your business. And you may feel it in your heart and your soul more than they do. It's their business. And yet you're the one who feels it more strongly than they do. You have more love than they do for themselves even. No. Okay. Thank you, Maraid. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Deborah Rose 9362 said, Ivy, I did one more on PayPal. Okay. All right. So Deborah Rose, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you. Okay. So Deborah Rose says, what does my ex Cliff feel about me? Why do I think about him? Okay. Cliff, What is Cliff feeling? Let me jump into his energy. I think there's some unfinished business here, and that doesn't mean that you have to get together to complete it by any means, but it does mean that he'll show up in your dreams, he'll pop in your head. There could be signs and symbols of him everywhere, and at different points in your life where you're able to use the love or the connection or the lessons from the relationship to elevate your life, or you're working through some things that were disappointing, brought grief or loss in that relationship, you're triggered. And so you reconnect, okay, to a heightened degree. So you think of him more. I do think in large, it's him thinking of you. And so he's pulling and tugging at your energy. The solution, if you don't like it, is a cord cutting. So when you're thinking of someone a lot and you're like, I don't want to, I can feel them pulling and tugging at my energy. When there's a contract and there are cords, that is easy to do. They could do it voluntarily. They could do it involuntarily. Regardless, you're going to think of them. They're going to pop in your head a lot. And if you don't like it, you can do a cord cutting. If you don't have your own ceremony, there's a class up on the website called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. And I'm actually reteaching it in a couple weeks. So if you want to take it live, you could also do that. But ultimately, what seems to be happening here is that you guys really could have had a wonderful, harmonious, beneficial, long-term, supportive relationship that had strong foundation, and you were able to fulfill and build like a work contract where you were building a life together. So it could have brought, wealth. It could have brought growth. It could have brought spiritual abundance and a lot of even social connections, a lot of travel, a lot of food, a lot of music, a lot of romance, a lot of art, a lot of even reading. I don't know if you guys were into documentaries when you were together. What the heck's going on with that? But it could have had all these things, but he wasn't ready. And you got sick of overreaching. And it feels like it was a combustible situation. He also really gets hung up on old relationships. So like he's the type of person who would stay married in a bad marriage for like 20 years. Just like never move on with his life, So he's stuck. That's a good way to say it. You're dealing with someone who's stuck. And he's still stuck. Okay, thank you, Deborah Rose. We're going to move on to another one. Who do we have next? Mama. What you doing, Mama? Icy Trina said, I'm Christina. Okay, we'll go with Christina on that. Christina, do I have a new mail coming through? It's been years, and I'm not sure I'm even aligned yet for them to come through. Do I need more healing to be done? I do feel he's out there because in dreams, is there more to this? Does it just end there? Is that it? Because in dreams? Okay. I do not feel like you have more healing to do. Christina, thank you. I don't think it's that. And I would just trust me, you're ready. Okay. I think that you're in alignment with yourself. I think you've done the healing that you need to do. I think that the issue is availability of high quality people who aren't just looking to be cared for. They're not just looking for a caretaker. I think you have to be careful also for nurse with a purse, okay, or hospice wife energy from some of these people that they're looking for a literal caretaker. Be careful. What you've essentially done is you've said, I want something high vibrational or nothing at all. And I know my value and I know my worth. And so the pool has gotten very, very small, rightfully so. And that's a good thing. I do think that you need to put yourself out there a little bit more. So whether it's, you being on the dating apps or you going out more regularly to places where people are actually interacting. So this could be like classes. This could be, I get some types of concerts, like outdoor concerts, for example, where there's a lot of mingling going on. Putting yourself in environments where people are already enjoying what you enjoy or would like to learn about. I think you need to be out there more. It just feels like you're isolated, or you can't, like, people don't have access to you. Okay. And so whatever routes you are using, you may not be using them enough. That's a probably better way to say it. I think that it's also time for you, if you've been thinking like, I'm going to go get my hair done, or I'm going to go get a makeover, or I'm going to go get a new wardrobe, or I'm going to go splurge on myself, or I'm going to, whether you're changing something about like your diet, your day-to-day lifestyle, health and wellness, whatever it is, it feels like a beautification from the inside out with you. Focus on that. Keep focusing on that, because you are radiating at a higher vibration, and that's all it's going to take. Okay. And I do see some people coming in, 3. It feels like 2 the same, 1 of different. So it could be like 3 people at once. I feel like I'm in the middle of summer and then more toward the end. So this could run a stretch of time where they're wanting to regularly get together with you. But I think that you have a very low tolerance for people who talk too much about themselves and don't show real interest in you. And so that could knock the one out of there pretty early on. Don't have a tolerance for it. Don't hold space for it. If they're not asking, they're not interested. If they just want to get the mic and have an audience because they need a little fan club and a little ego boost, we're not having it. Okay. They can't afford you. They can get a ticket to their own show. So I just see you being able to decipher around that time more of what you're looking for. And you could be talking to someone that you enjoy quite a lot. They have some issues, but we'll see where it goes. There could be a lot of chemistry. Like, we don't need to go anywhere kind of chemistry. Okay. Like, we could sit on a couch and this is amazing kind of chemistry. It's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Thank you, Christina. We're going to move on to another one. 1111, make a wish, everyone. May everyone find true love. All right. Did you read Camilla? Did I read Camilla? I don't believe so. Nope, I did not. Okay, Camilla Carnes says, any significant romantic relationships coming in? Love coming in, Camilla. Camilla, thank you. Love coming in for Camilla. Significant. I do think there's someone you're supposed to be talking to. Now, you could have a few coming in, but you may feel like, why did you reach out to me? It's almost like, what are you doing? Sometimes when people are dating, they are like ping pong balls, or they're like a foosball table, or they remind me of like a pinball machine. They're a little like wacky and nutty and like a little too high energy and a little chaotic and a little obnoxious, and it's like talking to you and reaching out to you and like, I'm going here and going there and going to this, I'm doing this thing, and then kind of unstable, and you're just like, why are you even reaching out to me? Okay. So you could find yourself dealing with some people who are a little bit, I don't know, getting high off the supply, forgetting that they're talking to actual humans, but that's a little weird. I also see you talking to someone who really, okay, I see why this is probably happening. Okay. So you got people acting peculiar, acting obnoxious, acting immature. Okay. And then you've got someone who stands out from the others, significantly so. Calm, cool, collected, centered, meaningful conversations. One conversation rolls into another one. It always seems to be going somewhere, and it always seems to be connected to something more. It also leaves you thinking. And so you may, find that when you walk away from conversations with this person, you're remembering the conversation. It's not like some punch in the face or avalanche that just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't know, someone talked at me for a minute and then I forgot it all. All you can remember is that obnoxious energy. No, there's meaning, there's depth. It's coming into your head because it applies to your life, your evolution, okay, your philosophies, your spiritual development. There's something going on here. This person may be looking like heavy Italian or heavy Latino, maybe Cuban. Is Cuban? Maybe Cuban. Maybe I don't know. I kind of got to go with Italian. I mean, so many people are mixed these days. I can't tell. I mean, I'm a mutt too, but like, I don't know. This person has dark hair. Okay. I feel like black hair. And like kind of a bigger nose, bigger hands, sort of a sophisticated energy. Okay. About them. I travel, I invest, I know what I like. I buy things that are worth it. You know, I want to have experiences in life. There is something wounded in there, and it does sort of taint everything a little bit with a sadness. I don't know if that's going to come out, but I wouldn't push too hard for it. I would just see if it can pop out on its own. I think that you could find yourself talking to someone with depth, and then to some clowns. So no sooner are you like, I don't remember getting a ticket to the clown show. You know, I don't remember getting a ticket to the circus. Not my circus, not my monkeys. And then there's this one person. And it's like, okay, that needed to happen. So you didn't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? And get off the whatever dating apps or, you know, quit. All right. We'll see what you do with it. Yeah, but it's definitely coming in. All right. Thank you, Camilla. We are going to move on. Who else do we have? Okay. Susanna Cruz 9904. Susanna Cruz says, hi, Ivy. Is my relationship with my 2 children going well? I am concerned about my daughter's relationship with me. She seems distant with me. Okay. And I don't have initials or first names. We are also doing last call. So if you guys want to get your question in, now is the time. If you can't stay, you can go back and watch the replay. This will be published in about 24 hours exclusively on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium, and everything will be time stamped. If you prefer to do this privately, as a lot of people do with the love and relationship readings, you can go on to my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. I do work internationally. All right, let's get on to Susanna. Okay, Nancy and Dorian are the names of the kids. Okay, and you feel like Nancy is distant. You just want to know how it's going. All right, how are these relationships going? I feel like with Dorian's in a world of their own. And I think that what you just need to do is consistently show up and be you. Just consistently show up and, you know, be available. Just be your authentic self in the way that you always have good ideas and you always have like feedback and you always have like perceptions about things, you know, and that's not overbearing. That's just sharing. I think that Dorian may be going through some stuff where it's very like, I sort of just want to be alone, or I want to be isolated, you know, or at least from like family or people in positions of authority over me. And that's okay. That's okay. So allow that to unfold. Dorian seems to periodically come around though with you and really want more of you, really want to reconnect, really, I want to say as this one gets older, appreciates you and the bond there. Dorian may be the one who really recognizes what tremendous value, that the most valuable thing in life we could even say is not, you know, money or generational wealth as much as it is having a support system. And you are so that they could never, okay, deny it. And it will be recognized and appreciated. Okay. Just give it some time. The next 3 years, I feel, you know, Dorian going through some stuff. But Again, you be there, you be available, and know that it has nothing to do with you. The most important thing I'm feeling with your kids right now is knowing that they're not an extension of you. Like, your children are not an extension of you. Your parents are not an extension of you. Your spouse is not an extension of you. Okay. No one is. So it's knowing that they're on their own journey and you stay centered in yours and you're there to assist. But like, that's all. That's really all it is. Okay. Don't try to make these contracts out to be something more than what they are. They're humans. So they're not an extension of you. Don't overreach, meaning I think about this all the time. I'm worried about this all the time. And, when you feel something about your kids that you want to change, or you want them to do better, you want them to be happier, you want them to be healthier, you want them to whatever, pick up a tool that you gave or that is available and you see them not doing it or making bad choices. Instead of focusing on that, visualize what you want to see for them. Stop that negative thinking. Stop feeding the fear, right? The worry, the low level energy and manifesting garbage energy for them. Immediately catch that thought, shut it off, and tell yourself, I'm going to visualize what I want. I want them to pick up the tools. I want them to achieve happiness in their life, which is an inside job. I want them to be willing to look in the mirror and look at themselves. I want them to love themselves. I want to have a closer relationship with them. And you just visualize it and then you let it go. And they're not an extension of me. That's all. That's all. Okay. As far as Nancy is concerned, she feels like you're overbearing. So she feels like, but not that you are. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying her perception is like, okay, you know what? I think you're right about a lot of things. And I think she doesn't like, damn it, mom was right. Oh shit, like not wanting to give you credit, maybe. All right. But it is what it is. It is. And that's a good thing. Okay. That's a good thing. Let her take her space, call her shots, and let her build up enough where she feels like she came up with it on her own. She thinks she came up with it on her own. Okay. She wants her autonomy. So it's fine. And don't overreach whatever you do. People can feel it when you're overreaching mentally too. Thinking about you all the time. I'm worried about this all the time. I'm worried about pull back energetically, and everything else tends to fall into place, including this. You'll feel more flow. Thank you. We're going to move on to another one. This is for Camilla. Camilla said, when and how do I meet this Italian type man? Okay. When and how? Okay. When and how can she meet this? I don't know if you're on a trip, maybe you're talking about taking a cruise. Maybe you're talking about taking a vacation to the beach, somewhere tropical. I could also see this when we are going somewhere that's designed to look that way and feel that way. Okay. So any environment where you are, having like a beach side or a waterfront experience. I think that could also happen where you're on what almost feels like dating apps for professionals or dating apps for adults or dating apps for I don't know what. Like, isn't there a professional something? I'm out of the loop with the dating apps, but isn't there like a professionals something or even an age related thing where it's like over 40 or like over 50, you know what I mean? Like something specified. Say you're on a dating app that does the vetting for you for the most part and is not chock full of bots, and it's not for teeny boppers who have the time to waste. And it's based on proximity. So like within like, I keep getting 10-mile radius with the two of you, but you may have yours set to like an hour or whatever, but it's like within 10-mile radius, it seems like it could be narrowing down that way as well. Okay. So not any type of dating app, but very specific dating apps and very specific environments like that. Fun. Seems to be there's a lot of conversation. If this happens organically, there's a lot of conversation. It's like this person's brought into a conversation. This person comes over. I keep seeing a white shirt, like a white button-down shirt, or like a cream-colored shirt, like a nice shirt. like unbuttoned, like top 3 unbuttoned. I mean, he's not like Rico Suave. I don't see like big chest hairs and gold medallions and shit, but you know, he's like, yeah, he's a little high end. Oh my God, I know who he reminds me of. Who is this comedian? Who is the Italian comedian who dresses really well, who's meticulous about shit? Somebody put it in the comments. It's going to drive me nuts. I swear, he doesn't look like him really. Maybe they dress the same. This guy's bigger. You know, that dude's sort of little. He reminds me of Prince, but I'm talking like this guy's bigger and everything. But anyways, what's his name? Sebastian Maniscalco or something. Yes. This guy's got to be Italian. I don't know, or Cuban. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. He could be mixed, but anywho, if this ends up happening organically, it would be something like he inserts himself. There's like music playing, like inserts himself in, you know, the conversation. Like there already was one, and then it's like you and you have this friend with you, and it's like, I don't know, it just picks like it's very, very smooth. It's like we just roll right into this. He may wear fedora hats too. Interesting. I love this for you. Have a good time. Send me pics. He's super cute. All right. So let's move on. Do we have any more coming in? Oh, yeah. Was that when? I would say 6 to 7 months. Yep. Susanna Cruz says, LOL, so true about Nancy and Dorian. Thank you, Ivy. I know I need to let them grow, and they are great kids. I appreciate you. You're so welcome. You really don't have anything to worry about. We're going to see, let's see if is there any other feedback or any other questions coming in? Any other testimonials? We have Black Cat said, thank you. You're welcome. I saw a lot of comments coming in earlier, but I didn't have time to get to any of them. Edgar said, you're welcome. Yes, you are very welcome. Thank you. Tiffany said, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys, just a reminder, Pickles760 said spot on. Thank you, Pickles. Just a reminder, you guys, that we will be back. What is today? I am in such a warp. Today is Monday, right? This is the Love and Relationship Show. I will be back on Wednesday, I want to say, with Ask Ivy, where I take all of your questions. Spirit and I give you an answer. So any kind of question under the sun, including mediumship. If you have deceased loved ones or pets that you want to connect with, you can start getting your early questions in for that now. And then Thursday, we have what's going on with your money, honey. So career, finance, and investment readings. Start getting your early questions in now. Any other feedback we want to pop up here? Black Cat said, thanks so much. I've heard about the Italian. I love some Italian. Super excited. Adorable. All right. Looks like we are at time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you need to book a healing, a reading, a psychic fair, or a party with me, our corporate events, etc., you can go right onto my website. Super simple self-booking system, Ivy Rivera psychicmedium.com, international. Most of what I do are phone readings. Now, if you look at the time frames and it's like you're in the Middle East, for example, and it's pretty limited, you can just get a video reading. That is always an option. I will see you guys back here on Wednesday for the Ask Ivy show. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, producers. Thank you, Spirit.